Hi, are you ready? 6.3 Pollination and Fertilization. Okay, so first learning standard. Okay, first learning standard. You are able to describe pollination. Alright, look carefully. The bees here, okay, the body on the bees, there is a yellow dust. Okay, so this yellow dust actually belong to the flowers. So the bees is the pollinating agent to the flower. So means by pollination. Right. Pollination is a process which is transfer of what? Pollen grain. This pollen grain come from what? From the anther and then go to where? Go to stigma. So it's like this. In the anther, there is a pollen grain. So the pollen grain in the anther will be transferred by who? By pollinating agent to where? To the stigma. So this is the definition for pollination. Alright, look carefully. These two flowers are located in the same plant. So, pollination can occur between one flower, which is from anther, from the same flower, the pollen grain from the anther, from the same flower to the stigma, or from the same plant, two different flower, okay, pollen grain transfer to the stigma. So, if the situation involve one plant, okay, it means this pollination is the self-pollination. Right. For this one, we have two different plants but same species of flower. The pollen grain from plant A transfer to the to the stigma on plant B. So it involves two different plants. Okay. So this is known as cross-pollination. Got it? So that is about pollination. Okay. Nak kena buat apa? Dengar dulu. Nanti saya akan bagi tahu apa yang nak kena salin. Okay. Hafal Next. Second learning standard. You are able to describe the formation of pollen tube and the formation of male gamete. Okay. This, okay, actually is the continue story from 6.2. So, dalam 6.2, you belajar formation of pollen grain. Lepas tu nak buat apa pollen grain tu? The pollen grain will be transfer. So, pollination occur. So, selepas tu apa berlaku? This is what you are going to learn in this second learning standard. Okay, ready? Okay. Yang ini kena tulis sikit. Buka buku rampaian you. Okay. Tulis sikit. Tajuk dia dalam indeks, dalam tajuk Formation of Pollen Grain and Male Gamete. Dah? Okay. Saya yang dua gambar ni tak payah lukis lagi. Nanti saya akan bagi tahu dekat mana yang you perlu lukis. Okay, sekarang tulis dulu tajuk ni. So, let's say what happened here. Transfer of pollen grain to the stigma. Pollination occur. So, pollination occur. So, the pollen grain land on the stigma. Baik. Nak kena lukis ke? Dari sini dah kena start lukis. Okay. Dalam buku rampaian, lukislah besar sikit. Dalam around 6 to 8 line macam tu. Okay. So, pollen grain land on the stigma. We know that in the pollen grain, there is male gamete. Okay. So, this male gamete need to transfer down to the ovary, to the ovule to meet the egg cell. So, there is a process here. Okay, what is the process? Okay. So, this is the real picture, okay, which is the pollen grain land on the stigma. Okay, so happen. Okay, tadi dah lukis gambar ni kan? Okay, dah lukis gambar ni. So, on the stigma, there is a sugary solution. So, this sugary solution will stimulate, okay, the pollen grain to germinate. So, now, the pollen grain are ready to germinate. Okay, what happened? It will develop a pollen tube. So, this pollen grain will develop the pollen tube. Okay, boleh? Right, so yang ini lukis sikit. Betul-betul lukis pollen grain hanya di sini. Next one, you draw the pollen grain and pollen tube dekat sini. Nampak? And please extra careful, there is a 2 dot here. Apa benda ni? Kita akan tengok. Okay. So, this pollen tube, gambar yang tadi tu, tak payah lukis lagi lah. Just use the picture yang you dah lukis tadi. Okay, this pollen tube will grow down the style towards to the ovule. And then macam mana dia boleh pergi ke bawah? Because it secrete the enzyme. So this enzyme will digest the tissue in the style. So sebab itulah dia boleh jadi satu tube. Okay. So this tube yang depan ini adalah known as tube nucleus. So label it. Okay. Baik. Along the way, okay, the tube nucleus digests the tissue on the style to move downwards, pergi kat sini. Along the way, okay, the generative cell or generative nucleus yang kita belajar dalam 6.2 tadi tu, okay, it will divide again by mitosis to form 2 male gamete. So, 2 dot yang ini tadi adalah male gamete. So, label it. Ingat tak? Dalam pollen grain, formation of pollen grain ada 2. Tengok balik. Dia ada 2. Generative tissue, generative cell and tube cell. Okay, tube nucleus. So, tube nucleus ni yang inilah. Okay, the generative nucleus will undergo mitosis to form 2 male gamete. Okay, next. Baru sambung continue lukis. Okay, so this is the pollen tube. So, the pollen tube now already reached down to the ovule. Okay, carry the 2 male gamete. So, these 2 male gamete, dia akan follow. Okay, lukis yang ni. This one, lukis structure ni. Kenapa kena lukis? Supaya you ingat dia punya proses. Okay. And then next, okay, sama yang ni tak payah lukis lah. Okay, the pollen tube will grow through the micropyle bawah ni. Then dia pergi mana? Okay, the tip of the pollen tube disintegrates so that it can release the male gamete. So dia akan, okay, these 2 male gamete can now, okay, dia boleh masuk lah, okay, into the ovule. Okay, boleh. So, habislah formation of pollen tube ni, pollen tube ni dengan male gamete. Boleh? Okay. Cerita dia sampai sini je ke? Tak. Ada lagi continuous story. Kejap. The third learning standard. So, you are able to explain the double fertilization in the formation of diploid zygote and triploid nucleus. Ni cerita seterusnya. So, tengok gambar ni. Ini dekat mana? Okay, ini apa? Ni apa? Tak nak cakap. Dia kena ingat sendiri. Ni dekat apa? So, this yang ini, nampak tak? Ini adalah pollen tube. Dia dah reach dekat ovule. So, these two adalah male gamet. So, male gamet ni dia ada berapa? Ada 2. That's why dia ada double fertilization. Okay? So, kenapa dia jadi diploid zygote? And kenapa ada triploid nucleus? Okay, kita akan tengok sekejap. So, okay, story yang tadi tu belum habis, kita sambung. Gambar yang you lukis tu, terus continue saja gambar ni. Tadi gambar yang ni kan? So, you continue saja lukis. Okay, so, what happened? Once the pollen tube reach the ovule and then the male gamete are ready to apa kita panggil, to enter into the ovule, okay? Ada berapa male gamete? 2. Okay, so one of the male gamete from 2, one of it will fuse with the egg cell. Satu tu akan pergi kepada egg cell. So, male gamete ialah N. Egg cell ialah N. Haploid. So, haploid campur haploid, it become diploid zygote. Okay? And this diploid zygote will develop to become embryo. Boleh? Okay. Seterusnya, the another male gamete, the second male gamete tadi tu, ingat dia ada 2 kan? So, the second male gamete will fuse with the polar nuclei in the middle. So, polar nuclei ni, warna merah ni dah ada 2. So, campur dengan 1 from the male gamete. So, dia jadi berapa? 3. So, that's why it become triploid endosperm. Boleh? Boleh Okay. Gambar ni dia guna warna purple dengan warna merah. Yang warna purple ni belong to the male gamete. Sebab sini nampak tak purple kat sini. Boleh? So, because there are double ataupun 2 time fusion of 2 sperm cell with the different nuclei, that's why kita panggil sebagai double fertilization. Barulah habis story yang you lukis tadi tu. Tapi tak habis lagi ni. Ada learning standard yang seterusnya. The 4th learning standard, apakah importance of double fertilization for the survival of flowering? Okay, simple je ni. Okay. So, you tengok kat sini. For the first fertilization, actually the sperm, the male gamete, fused with the egg cell. It become zygote. So, okay, this zygote is diploid. Okay. So, it is diploid. It will be normal lah. So, it can develop to embryo and then rise up, become a new plant. Boleh? Okay. For the second fertilization, what is the important? Okay. Second fertilization occur, which is the male gamete, the one sperm, the male gamete, and fused with the 2 polar nuclei, N plus N. So, it will become endosperm. Triploid. Okay, 3. So, what is the function of this endosperm? Yang ini. Endosperm ni. Okay. So, this endosperm will, okay. Sorry. Alright. This endosperm will provide the nutrients, okay, for who? For the developing embryo, so that this developing embryo yang tengah-tengah sini, okay, can grow. So that is reason why there is a double fertilization. Satu, to make the embryo. Second one, to make the endosperm. So this endosperm will provide nutrient for the embryo dekat dalam yang tengah-tengah ni, so that the embryo can grow and develop to become new plants. Boleh? Okay, so that's all for 6.3. Bye.